I think there's always a sort of a soft spot for me when it comes to sports films in Philly. We've had a lot of good ones in the past, and this is another one in that mode. But how did I feel about it? We're going to talk about that. Let's jump into my review of the new film, Hustle. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Hustle, which is available in some limited theaters now, but will be on Netflix June 10th. Now, this film is produced by LeBron James and Adam Sandler, also starring Adam Sandler, and it is featuring an array of different folks. You have Adam Sandler, you have Ben Foster, you have Jaleel White, you have Queen Latifah, just to name some. And then you have so many cameos, so many NBA players, coaches, personalities. It really lacks no star power. You're even going down into ex-NBA players, overseas players, street ball legends. You have it all. And in case some of those folks you're just not familiar with, once you stay through the credits, it labels them all out for you. There's so many folks attached to this film. But it does star, who is a player of the Utah Jazz right now, in Juancho Hernan Gomez, who plays Bo. Bo is the next big thing. He is in Spain. And before we talk a little bit more about him, let's talk about Adam Sandler's character, Stanley, who is an assistant coach for the 76ers, which his main job is talent scouting. And they're trying to figure out their next big pick for the NBA draft. And there's been a lot of failed stories, but as soon as he thought he had given up on who they were going to pick this season, he ends up meeting Bo in Spain. But Bo isn't playing for anybody. He's just on the street, making money. He's tall. He has a really good wingspan. He moves like a guard, but he's tall like a power forward or even a center. He's talented. And again, he's on the Utah Jazz, so you can see exactly who I'm talking about here. But he becomes like almost now Stanley's saving grace, because he's like, okay, this kid is going to be great. I got to bring him back. And I'm sure, you go back to the owners of the 76ers, you're like, yeah, I'm going to earn my check with this one. But it's not as easy as it seems. I got to be honest, I'm not so there's a dynamic between Stanley and the owner, where the owner's playing like a villain, and he's not sold on Stanley being able to recruit the right talent. There was even an issue with the previous year of somebody they drafted where Stanley was like, listen, don't pick him. At the time, the current owner at the time also agreed with Stanley, but then once the current owner died, then his son ended up becoming the owner, who was fond of this other person. So him and Stanley had never really gotten along here. So, now he doesn't trust Stanley to do his job even in this next season. And Stanley had gotten his promotion to assistant coach right before his father, the previous owner father, had died. So, I'm not really so fond of this villain role that the current owner is playing, because it's just like, for the sake of the city, everybody should be on the same page. And you can see like the owner was clearly out against anything Stanley represented, believed, or so on. But like in these stories, it's always, especially in sports stories, it's always about redemption. It's always about, the journey, the struggle, and so on. And I did love it for the most part. I really loved Bo's display of family and how much he loved his daughter. And, and coming from Spain, coming to America, and how things were just so different from what he's accustomed to, from how he was ordering room service inside of his room. He was eating from the room bar, and like how he was just picking things and whatnot. Like I loved how he came, and it was a little bit of a learning curve for him. And I also love the dynamic between the number 1 and number 2 picks, projected picks in terms of, battling for contention. And, that was even a thing in its own, but like that brought the drama to this, like the whole dramatics to it. So like I was invested into that. Queen Latifah even getting on the court was something. I just will leave it at that. But again, yeah, I love the Bo, dad and daughter relationship and whatnot. But like the redemption part, I just never fully got invested into it. When you think about some of the classic other sports films out of Philly, when you think about something like Creed and Rocky and so on, like like those are the ones where you just like I felt the journey. I seen the struggle to overcome to some point get to a moment of victory and whatnot. So you understand that. And for this, it just really didn't feel that way. And maybe it wasn't because it was about Bo. Maybe it's more because it was about Stanley, the coach who had it once a promising career, did jail for for an incident and whatnot. And even kind of stepped out on a limb on his own, because at a point where he is an assistant coach, he eventually is fired or he quit because of his disagreement with the owner, and sort of say stepped into a mentor / agent role for Bo, and really using his resources to truly help him, get a spot in the draft. And with that, we see the sister of the owner kind of step back into more of an ownership standpoint, who then gives Stanley another chance. So like the film is 2 hours, and it feels like 2 hours. It's absolutely long, but like, I enjoyed the film. I just think for the overall part where you want to connect with the folks who's going through this redemption battle or self-discovery journey, I didn't really feel that moment of getting up and cheering. And that's the biggest thing with these sports films like this. Like, you want to get up, you want to cheer, you want to feel a part of it. But for me, I think I was just kind of like more of a spectator. And I think even with the sport of basketball, which is, always fascinating, just watching basketball in itself from all the different levels was really dope. But like, I just felt more like a spectator, where I think in some of these other films, some of these other classic films, like, Remember the Titans, and the list goes on, but like, you actually feel like you're on the sideline cheering. And I don't know if I've ever felt that way in this. I felt like I'm just kind of like, okay, I know how these stories are kind of built, it becomes a little bit predictable in this as well too, but it was just kind of like, okay, cool. Yeah, no problem. Wasn't mad at the film. Just wasn't overly invested into it. But like I said, it is nowhere near short of star power. Up and down the board, there is a name or a face or a cameo of some sort that you're going to know. And that was really cool. I mean, it's LeBron James. So of course, LeBron James is going to bring out the big stars, the big names and whatnot. And Adam Sandler too. He's cashing in those Netflix checks and whatnot. So, but I think this is a film. I think, once it gets trendy, everybody's going to check it out. Everybody's going to be wild about all the different names and stuff that they've seen on it. But overall, I don't think it's going to like be one of those impactful stories that you can say, I have to go back and watch. It's not going to be one of those ones where you like, this had such a good story, a good motivating arc in it that like I need to go back to kind of find some inspiration and whatnot. And I can say that from an American standpoint. It may be a little bit different if you're coming from international and whatnot, overseas. That lens may be a little bit different for you, because Bo's journey from leaving his home and his mother, who was a single mother, and his daughter, who he's never been separated with, was a beautiful thing. And there may be folks that may be able to connect with that. And there's some other things as well too, like him, going through customs, like I said, the learning curve and being on American soil and whatnot, and just how other folks perceive overseas players and whatnot. And that could be a thing, but we'll see. But again, Hustle will be on Netflix June 10th. Jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about it when you check it out. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.
I keep